Morning class. In this tutorial, I would like to go over the next stage after planning out your color in your illustration. So you can see here I'm using Lexi, thank you. I'm using yours as my example to work off of. She's nicely placed all of these layers here. She has broken up different aspects of her illustration into each layer. It's a great way to approach it. I also really like how she set up her color choices right along the edge over here so that she can use her eyedropper to select from. And when I say to create color swatches and try to only use like 4 or 5 colors within your color scheme, it means that it could be really like any color within this realm. So it doesn't have to be just this green. I could um, use that green, but then maybe also use other greens similar to within, and that would count as like one color. You just don't want to have like rainbows of colors across your entire illustration. After you color in for requirements for this project, I want you to at least color in one color combination. And then I'd like you to do the following. You can either try going to just hue saturation. So remember I was talking about that little black and white cookie. Okay, so if you click on it, you can go to hue saturation, and what hue saturation does is it changes the hue, the color of the image. So you can pull and try changing the entire piece as a whole, see what happens when you change those colors. You could see what it would look like with less color, okay, by desaturating it, or more color by saturating it. You could also lighten and darken it. Okay. Now, I did this as a whole. What you could also attempt doing is taking bits and pieces of it to see how different colors look. So I would like you to try doing this. So let's say, I did explain this a bit yesterday, but my curtains here. If I went to my lasso tool, it doesn't have to be perfect, so I can use my lasso tool as my selection, and I can draw around my curtain here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. But wherever you start, you must end. So it must attach, and then it will create that selection for you. Then I'm going to go to my hue saturation, okay, and I can play around with just the color of that one item, okay. I can change the color, see what it looks like as a different color. I can make it brighter, I can make it darker. I'm sorry, I could desaturate it, meaning take the color out. I can make it lighter, and I can make it darker. So this is something I would like you to play around with. All right, so if you wanted to take one item in your illustration and make it lighter or darker, that's one approach. The second thing that I wanted to show you was opacity. So in Photoshop, you have layers, right? So you want to make sure you're on the right layer. So if I wanted to do something to the curtains, I have to make sure that I'm in the curtain layer. Okay, so here, Lexi's got a lot of different layers. This is the props, so maybe I'll double click that and call that the props, right? So let's say I wanted to see what I'm working with the curtains still. I wanted to see what the curtains would look like, maybe as if so that they wouldn't stand out as much. I can take the opacity, which is on my layer bar, okay, and I can lower it, and it's going to also make the curtains a little bit lighter. And you might want to play around with this type of stuff, because then you can really see like, okay, maybe if I make the curtains lighter and even the background, okay, this looks like the background of the stage. Wow, then that person really stands out a little bit more, right? So different approaches to the value, how dark or light something is in your image. The last thing that I wanted to show you, they're really great tools, and again, you have to make sure you're on the right layer. So if, let's say this is the woman, so I'm going to call this person. I wanted to change something about this layer. I'm going to click on it. On your toolbar, you have 2 tools, okay, actually 3. If you hold down this tool that looks like a lollipop, Okay, you'll see that there's the dodge, that's called the dodge tool, your burn tool, and then your sponge tool. So if I click on my dodge tool is going to make an area lighter. So since I'm in the person, it's just going to change that layer. So by using the dodge tool, it's going to slowly, as you keep going over objects, make them lighter. So you're not really seeing much of a change because my exposure is on 14%. Usually yours will probably be on like 50. You'll then see, you can see a real change. You can see everything getting lighter. I think, okay, yeah, so not everything is in this layer. Let's see. So again, it's only changing parts that are within a layer that you're working on. The burn tool will make areas darker. So if you wanted to see what something would look like darker, like maybe I wanted her face to be lighter, but I wanted her hair to be a little bit darker, again, it's not really working because it's I don't know why my exposure is so low. I could use the burn tool, and the burn tool will make it darker, right? You can see. It'll make it darker without losing the detail. And then the last one I wanted to show you is your sponge tool. Okay, so your sponge tool kind of works like saturation. So on the top here you have your flow, okay, just like the dodge and burn, and you have your mode. You can put it on saturate or desaturate. Saturate will make your picture brighter. So again, in areas like right now I'm on the props. If I wanted to make something a little bit brighter, see what it looked like brighter, I can use the sponge tool on saturate. If I wanted to see what it looked like with less color, I can put it on desaturate and it will make that area more gray. So these are other tools that you can use to help you really figure out color. All right, so I hope that you find this helpful, and I'm going to put this up on